Welcome back, stargazers. Ever wonder why some relationships feel like walking on eggshells while others foster effortless understanding? Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating connection between Mercury and Chiron in Synastry, a cosmic dance that can either illuminate the path to profound healing or trigger old wounds. In this video, we'll explore how communication styles connect with past hurts, creating chances for healing and growth. Now, let's get started. In astrology, Mercury, the planet of communication and intellect, reflects how we think, speak, and express ourselves. Think of it as the cosmic messenger, constantly relaying information and shaping our interactions. Conversely, Chiron, the wounded healer, represents our deepest wounds, our vulnerabilities, and, importantly, the potential for healing. When these two celestial bodies interact in a relationship, particularly in synastry, where we compare two birth charts, it creates a powerful dynamic. The Mercury person is often drawn to the Chiron person's perspective. They're intrigued by the Chiron person's depth, wisdom, and unique way of seeing the world. Simultaneously, the Chiron person often finds value in the Mercury person's way of thinking. The Mercury person can help them articulate their experiences, and their insights can offer clarity. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Verbal expression often touches the deepest wounds. The Mercury person's communication, even unintentionally, can trigger the Chiron person's past hurts. For example, imagine a Mercury person who is naturally direct and analytical. They might offer well-meaning advice to a Chiron person who is feeling vulnerable. However, the Chiron person, carrying past wounds of judgment or criticism, might perceive this advice as a personal attack, leading them to feel misunderstood or exposed. This is a classic example of how even the best intentions can be misconstrued. Misunderstandings can happen. Words can unintentionally wound the other person. Conflicts can occur if open communication is lacking. But wait, there's a catch. This isn't a recipe for disaster. Instead, it's an opportunity, a chance to create a deeper understanding of each other's emotional wounds. The key lies in learning to communicate in a way that promotes healing. This involves creating a safe space where each person can feel heard and validated. To illustrate this, picture a scenario where a Chiron person feels unheard in their childhood. Now, in their relationship, the Mercury person, mirroring past communication patterns, might interrupt or dismiss their feelings. This could re-trigger those old wounds. However, if the Mercury person, aware of this dynamic, practices active listening, asks clarifying questions, and validates their partner's feelings, they can begin to dismantle the cycle of hurt. Now, let's talk more about the harmonious aspects. Harmonious aspects, such as trines and sextiles, create a flow of communication and empathy. A trine, for example, signifies an effortless flow of energy and harmony. It's like the two of you are speaking the same language without any effort. A sextile, on the other hand, offers opportunity and potential and mutual support. This means, the Mercury person encourages the Chiron person to speak their truth and to feel safe and heard, while the Chiron person can help the Mercury person understand deeper emotions, which in return makes the Mercury person more careful with the words that they chose. This is very important in this pairing. It's essential to remember that maturity plays a crucial role. Both partners need to be aware of their own wounds and sensitivities. The Mercury person must choose their words carefully, practice active listening, and consider how their communication impacts the Chiron person. The Chiron person, in turn, must be open to sharing their experiences and vulnerabilities, while also trusting the Mercury person with their truth. Consider this: a Mercury person may have a natural talent for debating, but may have a difficulty expressing their emotions. When facing a sensitive discussion, they may become defensive, which can be triggering for the Chiron person. The Chiron person can then take that defensiveness personally, causing them to withdraw and creating a negative cycle. Now, what if both parties practiced active listening and used I statements? If the Mercury person focused on expressing their own feelings and listened without judgment, while the Chiron person shared their vulnerabilities, the couple would be able to create the same effect and create a safe space. And it all begins with active listening. What if one is not a good listener? Well, open communication is essential. And it is also extremely important to forgive and have patience. Now let's dive into how this dynamic plays out in different relationships. In romantic relationships, the Mercury Chiron connection sparks intellectual attraction. Conversations flow easily, and each person is often fascinated by the other's perspectives. There's a sense of recognition, a feeling of finally being seen and understood. However, it can also open the doors for healing past wounds. They may need to learn to navigate each other's sensitive areas to navigate potential challenges. For example, the Chiron person might feel misunderstood or judged. Hurtful words could trigger insecurities. The couple could have difficulty discussing sensitive topics. To address this, the Mercury person must choose their words carefully, listen actively and empathetically, and be aware of how their communication impacts the other person. The Chiron person needs to be open to sharing experiences, allow themselves to be vulnerable, and trust the Mercury person. In friendships, communication is central. Shared intellectual interests often form a strong bond. However, potential communication challenges may still arise. The Mercury person may need to be aware of their communication style, consider how their words affect the other person, and strive for clear and honest expression. The Chiron person needs to share experiences and feelings openly, encourage the Mercury person to communicate honestly, and offer support and understanding. What about in family dynamics? This dynamic illuminates communication patterns, and highlights wounds and how communication itself can be wounding. For the Mercury person, it's vital to listen actively and empathetically, avoid being dismissive of feelings, and consider the impact of their words. For the Chiron person, it's essential to be open about their needs and vulnerabilities, teach the Mercury person to listen and communicate calmly and assertively. For example, think of siblings. The Mercury person might always have been the one who was heard first, and always takes the lead, while the Chiron person might have been neglected and always ignored, which makes it difficult to speak up. In a situation like that, it's even more important to teach them how to listen. Now, let's talk about the natal chart. This aspect offers insight into communication patterns and suggests wounding related to connecting with others. A person with this aspect may struggle expressing their thoughts and feelings, may have a fear of judgment, or feel misunderstood or unheard. Both sign and house placement are important. The sign reveals the nature of the wound, while the house placement reveals the area of life. So, how do we heal these communication blocks? We develop self-acceptance, embrace authentic expression, and practice clear and honest communication. Journaling can be helpful, as it allows us to process our thoughts and emotions in a safe space. This is where personalized astrological insights become incredibly valuable. Accurate charting, based on NASA's databases, allows for customization. You can discover your unique chart patterns, and see how the Mercury-Chiron connection plays out in your life. The composite chart, which represents the relationship's energy, also impacts how you communicate, learn, and heal together. This promotes shared intellectual growth and allows you to address wounds through dialogue. Ever wonder how you can improve this dynamic? Well, practice active listening, seek clarification by asking questions, and reflect on the other person's perspective, which is critical. Through these actions, you can learn to identify and communicate your emotional wounds. Regularly discuss and validate feelings, and acknowledge each other's vulnerabilities. Stick around, at 7:30 I'll reveal the one thing you need to do to start the healing. Remember, the key is open and honest communication. In conclusion, the Mercury-Chiron connection is a catalyst for personal growth. It's a journey of self-discovery and mutual understanding. It can unlock a transformative journey. But it takes effort, awareness, and a willingness to engage in open, honest communication. If you're ready to dive deeper and unlock the secrets of your own chart, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Plus, tell me in the comments below, How has your Mercury Chiron connection played out in your relationships? I'm going to pick the best response and respond back. If you're new, consider becoming a member of the channel. You will receive early access to new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.